those of us that look at African Americans as akatas, I encourage you to look otherwise. Because to live in oppression is a mental disease. To live in a society where you know that someone always looks at you as less of a person is slavery in the mind in itself. Imagine going to work every day and I'm the only black person in the office. And I'm a spectacle, I'm an experiment. They observe me, they try, how did you learn how to do that? How did you know that? Oh, you're always changing your hair. Or when I take out my hair, it's thick. It's very thick. It's So they always look at me, or they always try to wonder, like, how is she this smart? How does she know all these things? As if I'm not a human being. Bypass it. As a matter of fact, they don't even want to look at it because you're already you're making yourself a bait. And they don't want to fall into the trap to say, we did not hire this person because they put all of their demographic information on their resume. That's why unless, maybe there's something that I don't know. Lady and gentlemen in Ghana, is that a requirement for you to put those things there? Or we just decided to offer that information voluntarily? Imagine. You see, so some people will put Pentecostal, they put marital status single on. Why does your job need to know your marital status? Tell me now. No. That's harassment, sexual harassment. But again, we live in a different world where you can sue. You know, here you can't sue a company, but over there you can sue a company for sexually harassing you. So, when I look at the demographics of the number of youth that is currently unemployed in the African continent, in different countries, it worries me that in as much as we are spending so much time learning and looking forward to a brighter future, some of us want to jackpot. Are we ready to work in that environment? Are we equipped with the knowledge and the tools and the skills and the ability to be able to think and communicate? In that environment, we are not. As an employer, I have about 32 employees now. Some of them have been working with me for the past 2.5 years. And most of them are Nigerians too. I have 3 of them are in Kenya. And Nana also joined us recently. Ghanaians they're nurses and doctors and scientists. Very, 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 very intelligent people. But I also know that they spend a lot of time learning outside of school. So those of you that are in school today, you have a lot of work to do. I shared with you about Osei Tutu, who is a teacher, teaching junior high school, but is a senior student in school, also learning math and science. So if you're the type of person that thinks that internship is not my own, apprenticeship, it's too small, and you want to go into the global world, or you want to get into an industrial world, where you're working, whether in corporate, as an engineer, as an admin, as an officer, you have something coming for you. I think it is time for us to strap ourselves by the boots and see that there's really big competition out there. The average person in this room is between the ages of 22 and 29. And that age group right there is plenty. Not just here, but outside in the world. You guys are on TikTok. Look at all the knowledge that people are putting out there. How much of that are we able to put out there? Even if you are not putting it out, how much of that are we consuming? Are you ready for the workforce? Those of you that are doing your businesses, I commend you. But I even challenge you to learn more. How to scale up, Rukayat. Imagine that beyond just food sellers, you are selling to big companies. What will it take for you to do that? You see? My dear brother, You have paintings. Imagine your paintings is now put in a museum and you do a whole show with all your artwork displayed all over the world. My dear sister, all the big names in the world are buying your scarves. And you, sports. Every single big Olympic game that's happening is you that they're coming to for all the sports gear. Just imagine and thinking double. But how can we get there? So beyond Kumasi, while in Kumasi, how can we multiply? How can we scale up? How can we equip ourselves to be able to work and deal with the global nation? Because it's not now. I heard that in Kumasi there's so many Nigerians, and in Ghana I don't even know. I did not know.
So many.
I'm like, what are Nigerians doing in Ghana?
Sure.
I had no idea. I had no idea. I swear, I was so surprised. I was shocked. And then they said they have like a whole Niger village or something like that.
Yes.
I was just surprised. I was like, wow, something is going on. But now I think I understand why. Life is peaceful here. Ghanaians tend to take things a little bit slow, like chill. Right? You guys don't try to stress too much. I'm just making a generalization, but from my observation, things are a little bit calmer. A little like banana or stress. I think the biggest one is electricity. In Nigeria, 5 hours now, they take lights. But Ghana so far, I think the places that I've stayed, 3-4 days, you still have pure electricity. And that is golden. That is golden. So you guys actually have a luxury here. So for those of you that are students, you have no excuse to not be learning what is out there. How can I use my skills, my talent, multiply it to where it can even be valuable in the global and digital space? So the two personas that we were trying to attract or connect with are the final year students who are ready to go into the workforce. And then the ones that have already graduated who have been looking to get into the workforce. Bring them in, train them, and equip them with certain skills. Let's go on to the next slide, please. 2 more, I think above. Yes. One. Yes. How can we do that? So, before I get into the specifics of our program, there's some things that I've been finding out about Ghana that I was so intrigued about. One, someone said, Ghana is just like Nigeria. Scammers everywhere. You have to pay a bribe to bribe somebody to get anywhere, to get anything. And then on the news the other day, I saw the news about the China Mall. And that they arrested the people because of tax violations. And I don't know why. It was just a beam of pride. I was like, wow, that's good. They're holding them accountable. Meaning that they cannot just come and do business here. They still have to uphold the laws of this country by paying their taxes if they want to do business here. Is that correct? Oh. And I thought that was beautiful. So unbeknownst to me, Ghana is the first country in sub-Saharan Africa to gain independence. That's why when I came in 2019 for the very first time to Ghana, we went to the Cape Coast. Almina Castle. How many of you guys have been there? Hey, as a Nigerian living in America, I did not realize how much of our handiwork was involved in the slavery of our people. You hear me so? I had no idea. I thought they just came and plucked us out. I swear. Because I don't even think, even in Nigeria, I went to school in Nigeria, high school. They didn't teach us that stuff. We learned politics, governments, and all the different parliaments and everything, but not the history. See? So we go to Cape Coast, I'm in that castle, they're showing us and walking off through all the stuff. And I'm like, hey, whoa. It is us. Partially. We did it. And somebody was also telling me that the Akan at some point were trying to do business with, you know, foreigners, and then the Ashanti was like, no, you know, let's not do it. And because they didn't agree, then they decided to separate. Something like that? Yeah? Okay. So I now said, well, who's now giving information to the new foreigners that are here? Then I said the Ashantis. So you see how history is repeating itself in many different ways. Oh! But one thing I was very happy about was like, wow, Ghana was actually the first to get independence, and then opened the doors for people to come home if they're seeking to learn about their roots. So that's why a lot of people came. In 2019, they called it the year of the return. Although, being here now, I now see the catastrophic consequences of that year of the return. Me, personally. Because how the Ghana cities now became more expensive than the Naira, the thing I just... I've been changing money, I'm like, wow, dang, this is crazy. You know, it's so crazy. So I love the fact that in Ghana did breed a lot of activists. There was a company, I think it's a Ghana Publishing Corporation. It was owned by a British man in Accra. And then eventually some people started to revolt, like, why are you letting the British tell our news? And then, you know, they revolted, and then eventually, I think those white people, they went back to their country, they gave up the company and now handed it over to the Ghanaian government. Yes, we know that things happen in our politics. We're not going to talk about that today. It's not our business because we don't have any control, all right? Yeah. But what we can do, as Mr. Osei Tutu said, I said, what advice do you have for the youth in Kumasi? That's the young man that is a driver, he's a student, he's a teacher, and he made money, saved it to buy a car so he could be doing Uber and pay, making 500 cedis a day. I said, what advice do you have for the Kumasi youth? And he said that it is up to us individually. So, those of us that were in America, in as much as there's so much oppression over there, it was up to us to now say, you know what, just because they look at me like a monkey, or that I'm black, I don't know anything, I'm uncivilized, that I will not now let that tie me down. I will have to do something for myself. That's one of the reasons I started my business. I saw that as a black woman in HR in America, that there was no room for upward mobility for me. Before I could get another role as a VP of HR, it would take years. Either the person before me passes away or retires, or I just leave the company and another company hires me in that role. I knew it would take years. That's why I want to go and start my own business. So Ghana gaining its own independence as one of the first sub-Saharan countries, it's like almost 4 times now. So the way they drive on that road, only God to save us. Huh? So just him doing it, even if it's for money, I love that. Because I'm not going to compare to Nigeria. But our potholes, we have stories to tell. But now, I met the match. When I went to the Kwame Nkrumah student campus, there's one area in the corner where they're living. Just But majority of the roads so far that I've witnessed and encountered in Ghana, they're nice, they're good roads. I like. Am I lying? Please, let me hear your country from my own experience. You understand? Only Kumasi and Accra. Okay, in other places, maybe not as developed. Sure. And maybe that is why we need more construction engineers like our brother there, that can now hire more younger Ghanaians, put them to work so that they can build better roads. You see? Please give Ghana a round of applause. I'm sorry, I just have to hail you guys. We're still coming to the real conversation here. But this is our home. We cannot condemn it at the end of the day. We still have to enjoy and be proud about the beautiful things about our country, despite its challenges. Trust me, I can tell you, I understand. Cocoa, everywhere cocoa. Cocoa. Kilode.
Oh, wait. You're cooling now.
Porridge. What about it? Cocoa. Cocoa is porridge. Cocoa. Suffer. I need help. Please. I'm talking about cocoa farming. Did I say it right? Cocoa. Which one is the porridge? Cocoa. Okay. Alright. We will just leave this one to rest. Apparently, you guys are also the largest cocoa farmers.
Yes.
And there's a lot of farmers in Ghana. And I love that. Did you know that the biggest or the top billionaires in America are farmers? Yeah. So those of you that have farm or your family have farm, please don't sell it. If you sell it, please be strategic about it. Because years from now, I pray that you don't regret it. Yes. In America, a man buys land, builds house on top of it, but every month he's still paying a mortgage. Hey, imagine. But then you are here. Your grandfathers, your ancestors have left you land. You build on it. Who is coming to collect monthly rent from you? Nobody. So I just want to bring out this fact because it's important to recognize how beautiful your country is. Despite, I know, trust me, I know. Despite the challenges, despite the poverty, despite the crime, despite whatever is happening in the government space, which we don't want to open our mouth to say, that we have some goods in us. We have resources. We have power. We have things that a black man in America would beg and toil and sweat and work so hard to get. And that is farm, guys. Land. So if you have it and you can hold on to it, turn into a business, even if you are going to sell it, be strategic about it, it is still something you can always hold on to. No one can take it from you. Please don't sell our land and resources away to where by the time it's time for us to now come back and claim it, will be so hard for us. Please. I saw those two big buildings with the language on the wall, on the sides. The Chinese company. I was it was crazy. I know our time is running, but I know now that we have some challenges. Check them along. I saw on the news recently that the rate of the CD is also changing. You know, in Accra alone, I really feel bad for the people there, to be honest. The ones that cannot afford to spend what it costs to buy just normal food. Because we have more international involvement there. So that has made the prices of things go so much higher. But then the wages have not gone up. I saw that. And I also saw that people are in poverty. But then I'm also seeing opportunity now in Kumasi, and I'm thinking, wow, there's all these new big buildings. All these, the people are building real estates. Right? Yes. So what's going to happen now is that there's going to be an open channel of new opportunities, a new wave of opportunities. When those opportunities come, I hope that you all, by the time you're graduating or even now, that you are taking advantage of it, whether through business deals or working in those industries, but not just only as a meager laborer, but as a contributor, as a stakeholder. You see? But how do we get there? We have to be knowledgeable. Look at Shell, Chevron, those petroleum companies. They are all over the world. So those of you that are students, how can I work in an environment like that? You have to understand how petroleum works even in your own country. If you don't know it and you just go to work for them, you continue to become a laborer. The infrastructure here, despite some good roads, I see that a lot of mudslides breaks houses down. We have technology, but we don't have technology. How many of you guys have a laptop? So that scares me. It doesn't. No, it does. Because you may have you all have a smartphone, but you don't have a laptop. How can you learn? How can you work? If you've thought about buying, please consider staying. Then it's okay, if I stay, what do I do? Maybe you start a business. If you can't start a business, and those of you that want to get into tech, you will need a laptop. You will. Do you have a laptop there, my brother? You have a laptop? Sorry? It's spoiled. I'm so sorry.
Me too.
I want you guys to know that there are opportunities out there in the world without even leaving the comfort of your own home. As an American here, trust me, I've been working remotely for the past 10 years now. I work on a computer. I can go anywhere that I am and work. While I was out here, I plugged on my laptop, I got my work done, I met online, met with my team. I realized, okay, if I can do this, that means it's time for me to pack my stuff and come back home. So for the past 2.5 years, I've been thinking about me wanting to come back to Africa. Yes, yes. And I can say that freely because I've lived the life that we all think of what life should be in America, whether good or bad. So I know, while some of you are thinking, this one, look at this one. Me, I want to go to America. She's talking about coming back. Yes. There's freedom here. Wallahi. You guys saw George Floyd? Yes. Oh. To be honest, I was telling someone the other day, I'd rather eat my own people doing bad to me than other people who sees me less than a man. Do you guys understand what I mean by that? Those of us that look at African Americans as akatas, I encourage you to look otherwise. Because to live in oppression is a mental disease. To live in a society where you know that someone always looks at you as less of a person is slavery in the mind in itself. Imagine going to work every day and I'm the only black person in the office. And I'm a spectacle, I'm an experiment. They observe me, they try, how did you learn how to do that? How did you know that? Oh, you're always changing your hair. Or when I take out my hair, it's thick. It's very thick, it's So they always look at me, or they always try to wonder, like, how is she this smart? How does she know all these things? As if I'm not a human being like them. As if I did not read the same books as them. As if I don't have the mental capacity as them. our parents that went there too, they dealt with so much. This month is Black History Month in America. For those of you, if you're not aware of the things that Black people went through in America, and I just humbly ask you to just the importance of Black History Month in America. You will feel sorry for our brothers over there. In as much as the ones that were, all of us, that are some of us that are succeeding over there, there's some people that don't want to come back home, they love it, I don't blame them. But personally, ever since I left home, I've always known that I want to come back. But then, when I started to think about coming back, when I started to doing the work that it would take for me to come back, I started to observe the challenges that we have. And I started to say, okay, people say, if you want to come home, we went there to find better opportunity, down knowledge back, and impart it on people. That's one of the reasons why I am doing what I'm doing. That's one of the reasons why I'm here today.